The year was 2137. Humanity had reached the edge of the solar system. Mars had cities. Jupiter's moons had research stations. Space was no longer empty. It was alive with machines, signals, and dreams. But on a quiet night, in a cold underground lab in Antarctica, everything changed. Inside Station Delta 6, Dr. Lena Morales sat alone. Her job was boring. Monitor radio waves from deep space. For 5 years, nothing came, just static. Random noise. Until now. A sharp beep echoed in the control room. Lena blinked. The screen flashed red. Unknown signal detected. She sat up. Straight. Her hands moved fast over the keyboard. The signal was strong. Not from a star, not from a rock. It was repeating. A pattern. Clean, intelligent. Lena's heart raced. She opened the audio channel. A soft mechanical sound played. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't words. But it had rhythm. She hit record. Then she made the call. Within an hour, the top scientists in the world gathered on secure channels. The signal was sent to labs in Europe, Asia, North America. Every expert agreed. This was real. It wasn't natural. It wasn't human. It was the first contact. News spread fast. The UN made a public announcement the next day. We have received a signal from deep space. It appears intelligent, peaceful. This is a moment of great hope for all mankind. The world celebrated. People danced in the streets. Churches rang bells. Social media exploded with messages of unity. For once, Earth felt like one planet. But not everyone was smiling. In a dark room beneath the Pentagon, General Alex Riker stared at the same signal. But his screen showed more than the public saw. A second layer, buried inside the main signal, was something else. A coded message. Faint, almost invisible. But there Riker frowned. He turned to his AI analyst. Can you decrypt the hidden part? The AI replied. Working. 87% complete. Seconds passed. Then the translation appeared on the screen. Observe, analyze, prepare. Then another line blinked. Engage Protocol 7 if resistance detected. Riker leaned back slowly. His eyes turned cold. Tell no one, he said. Back at UN headquarters, a new team was formed, the Contact Council. Scientists, linguists, diplomats. Their mission, send a response. A peaceful message was prepared. It was simple, polite, and full of hope. It said, we are humans. We seek knowledge. We offer peace. A satellite was launched to send the message toward the source of the signal, near a star called Theta 9, 37 light-years away. But humans didn't wait. They also sent a probe. A sleek, high-speed drone equipped with cameras, sensors, and one small gift. A golden disc with music, art, and greetings in 100 languages. People called it the Peacecraft. The world watched as it traveled into the dark. Weeks passed. Then, something strange happened. On the far side of the moon, a mining base went silent. No distress call, no warning. Just gone. A rescue team was sent. What they found shocked everyone. The entire base was destroyed. Not by accident. Not by human error. By precision strikes. Melted walls. Burned electronics. Holes in titanium from weapons no one had ever seen. 32 dead. 0 survivors. The news was hidden. The public was told it was an oxygen system failure. But inside military command, alarm screamed. General Riker slammed his hand on the table. They answered, he said. And it wasn't peace. Meanwhile, the Peacecraft continued its journey. As it neared the Theta 9 system, it sent back images. One caught everyone's attention. A structure, huge, floating in space. It wasn't a planet. Not a moon. It was artificial. A ship, or maybe a station. Black metal, no windows, no lights. But shaped like a spear, long and deadly. And then movement. From the structure, A beam of energy flashed. The screen went white. Peacecraft was gone. Back on Earth, panic started to spread. The leaders argued. Maybe it was an accident, said one diplomat. They misunderstood, said another. But Riker didn't agree. He opened a file marked Protocol Hammer. It was a last resort plan. Full planetary defense. Missiles, lasers, orbital weapons. Earth was not ready for war. But now it had no choice. The president of the UN stood before the cameras. He looked calm, but tired. People of Earth, he said, we hoped for peace, but we must prepare for something else. The broadcast ended. Behind the scenes, something worse was happening. A new signal arrived. Short, direct, cold. Not from Theta 9. Closer. Inside the solar system, and it said one thing. We are watching. In a lab in Tokyo, a young scientist named Kenji decoded another piece of the original signal. His face turned pale. He called his mentor, Dr. Morales. I think I found something, he said. Show me. Lena replied. Kenji shared his screen. The original signal, when reversed and slowed down, contained an image, a map. And on that Earth was marked. Not labeled as home or target. Just observe. Lena stared in silence. Like we're a test, she whispered. Kenji nodded. A lab rat, he said. Meanwhile, above the planet Saturn, an old telescope satellite caught a shadow. It was moving fast. Very fast. Course, heading toward Mars. Size, unknown. Shape, not human. The Mars colony was warned, but no one knew what to expect. In a small outpost on Mars, an old man named Colonel Dean Walker watched the sky. He had retired years ago after the last Earth War. Now he just mined rock. But he saw something that night. A flicker in the stars. He called command. Something's coming, he said. His voice was calm, but serious. I've seen this before. The operator laughed. You've seen alien ships? No, he said. I've seen war. Back on Earth, the governments argued again. Some still wanted to try peace. Others demanded weapons. The world stood at a fork in history. Then, a third signal arrived. Louder, clearer, closer, and it said, we came. In silence, you responded. Now we begin. No one understood what that meant. Until the moon's far side exploded again. This time, they weren't hiding. General Riker stood in his war room. He looked at the burning feed from the moon base. We waited too long, he said. He pointed at the map. Activate all defenses. But we still don't understand what they want, his advisor said. Riker shook his head. They told us already, he replied. They want to test us. See if we break. He looked into the camera, recording his message for the world. This isn't just about aliens. This is about survival. Humanity is not a pet. We are not prey. We fight back. Far out in space, inside the dark alien ship, a cluster of lights blinked. Not random. Watching. Recording. Calculating. A soft voice echoed. In the ship's mind. Phase 1 complete. Resistance, 47%. Probability of surrender, low. Proceed to Phase 2. The ship changed direction, toward Mars. Then Earth, humanity, had made first contact, and it would never be the same. A red storm covered part of Mars. Dust moved like waves. But in Outpost 12, lights were on, and people were awake. Miners, engineers, and a few scientists watched the sky nervously. Above them, orbiting Mars, was Peacecraft 2, the second probe sent to make contact. It was designed to show humanity's goodwill again. It carried music, messages, and holograms of human children saying, "We come in peace." The world watched its slow approach to the alien object near the asteroid belt. In command rooms across Earth, screens flickered with its live feed. The ship neared the strange alien structure, silent, massive, covered in dark plates. Then, without warning, a beam of pure light shot out. The screen turned white. In Geneva, the Contact Council. Gasped. Double quotes, no ... Not again, whispered Dr. Lena Morales. The Peacecraft 2 was gone, not disabled. Not damaged. Vaporized. The signal cut out midstream. The last thing seen was the alien structure opening, just a slit. Like an eye blinking open. On Mars, alarms blared. The defense system kicked in, but it was weak. Mars wasn't built for war. It had mining lasers, not missiles. Then radar picked up a signal. Something was falling. Small objects, hundreds of them, dropping from orbit like rain. Colonel Dean Walker, the retired soldier, was already in his gear. They're not drones, he muttered. They're tests. Back on Earth, General Riker's screen showed a new message. It had no sound, just text. Second message received. Peace not accepted. Test initiated. Sir, said his officer. What do we do? Riker stood. Tell Mars to hold out. We're coming. The Martian ground shook. From the sky, small black pods hit the red soil. Then they opened. From inside came things that didn't walk. They crawled, not like animals, not like machines. Something between both. Long, spider-like limbs, no eyes, sharp joints. Silent, miners screamed. Engineers tried to run. Some fought back, using drills, hammers, tools. Colonel Walker took command. He grabbed a railgun from the security locker, only 6 rounds. But he knew where to aim. He fired. One drone exploded in a cloud of oil and sparks. They're weak at the joints. He shouted, hit the center. Meanwhile, on Earth, the public still didn't know the truth. They were told, a communication test failed. Minor satellite issue. But hackers across the world started to uncover leaks. Images of the Martian attack, screenshots of the destroyed moon base. A document titled, Engagement Protocol, Alien Hostility. Panic began to spread. People protested. Others stocked up on supplies. And some began building bunkers, but not everyone was afraid. Some were angry. At a hidden lab in New Mexico, a young tech engineer named Aisha was decoding drone footage. She worked with a private group, Project Ember, a secret team of ex-military, scientists, and off-the-grid engineers. Look at this, she told her team. They didn't attack randomly. They scanned first. They were looking for weakness. One man nodded. They're learning us. Aisha frowned. Or maybe testing how we fight back. Back on Mars, things got worse. Drones began to change tactics. At first, they rushed blindly. But now they moved in squads, flanked, hid. They were adapting. Colonel Walker lost 10 men in 1 hour. He pulled a young soldier aside. Listen, you need to get this footage to Earth. We need help. We need more than defense, we need a plan. The soldier asked, what are they after? Walker looked at the dark sky above. I don't think they want to invade. He paused. I think they want to provoke. In Earth orbit, satellite feeds showed a new object entering the system. It wasn't small like the drones. This one was big, 5 kilometers wide. Speed, slow. Direction, Earth. General Riker got the report. What is it? He asked. Unknown. Looks like a command vessel. Weapon scans? Negative. Riker narrowed his eyes. They're not hiding anymore. Meanwhile, inside the alien command ship, a being watched. It wasn't a body, but a presence. Like a eye, but old, cold, calculating. Its task was not war. It was measurement. A soft voice echoed inside the dark core. Human response time, fast. Emotion pattern, unstable. Weapon capacity, growing. Continue observation. It released a second wave, this time toward Earth's orbit. Dozens of tiny satellites, disguised as debris, entered the upper atmosphere. No one noticed. Except one. In a small basement in Mumbai. A 17-year-old hacker named Rishi sat with his laptop. He'd been watching Deep Space Comes for months. Tonight, something felt off. He spotted strange signals bouncing off GPS satellites. Not Earth-made. He posted his find on a private dark web board. Alert! Something just entered our orbit. Cloaked. They're listening. Minutes later, his post was taken down, but he kept the footage and sent it to Project Ember. In the Arctic Command Station. Lena Morale stared at new images from Mars. Smoke, fire, a red sky. This is no longer contact, she said softly. This is controlled war. Her assistant asked, then why haven't they fully attacked? Lena turned to a whiteboard filled with alien patterns. Because they're not here to conquer, she said. They're here to learn. Back on Mars, Colonel. Walker led a final stand at Outpost 12. Drones had broken through. His team was low on power, ammo, and time, but they had a plan. They would overload the mining reactors and blow the entire facility, destroy the drones before they could transmit. More data. As the last reactor heated up, Walker looked at the stars. We came here to mine, he said. Looks like we struck something else. He pressed the detonation code. A massive explosion lit up the Martian sky. Back on Earth, the explosion was picked up. The signal disappeared. Then, silence. General Riker looked at his command screen. He whispered, "They're not testing our weapons. They're testing our will." He turned to his team. "It's time to hit back." The room fell silent. No one expected a war in space. But war had come anyway. Red dust covered the sky. Outpost 12 was gone. A fireball on the Martian surface marked the end of Colonel Walker and his team. But their sacrifice wasn't wasted. The explosion destroyed over 60 alien drones. More importantly, it cut their transmission, for now, on Earth. General Riker watched the footage in silence. "They're not just here to kill," he said. "They're here to learn how we defend. Every drone, every battle, they study us." He turned to his team. "We'll send reinforcements to Mars. We make a stand." In orbit around Mars, a small research station still lived. Station Helix, built by a private company. It wasn't meant for war. It had labs, gardens, and only 12 staff, but it became the last human eyes on the planet. Inside, Dr. Aaron Malik watched Martian ground feeds. "There," he said, pointing. "Movement craters west of Outpost 9, something still alive. Down there." The camera zoomed in. A small group of people, about 20 survivors, were walking across the desert. They carried injured men, solar packs, and homemade weapons. One of them held a UN flag, broken and covered in blood. Among the survivors was a young woman named Sergeant Eliza Trent. She was not high-ranking, not famous, just one of the security guards on Mars. Now she was a leader. "We move at night," she said to her team. "They scan for heat, stay under the rocks during the day." They had no radio, no transport, just courage. Back on Earth, news finally broke. Martian colony attacked by unknown force. Losses confirmed. Panic returned. But this time, something else rose. Resolve. All around the globe, people volunteered. Soldiers, pilots, engineers, even civilians. They called themselves the Red Line, the ones who would defend humanity at the edge. The UN launched Operation Phoenix, a mission to send a combat team to Mars. But the launch would take 6 days. Would the survivors last that long? In Station Helix, Dr. Malik worked on a risky idea. "Maybe we can help them from here," he said. He modified a small drone originally used to monitor crops. Now it carried water, medicine, and a message. "You are not alone. Help is coming. Stay hidden. Keep moving." He sent the drone into Mars' atmosphere. Back in the Martian desert, Sergeant Trent's team stopped as they heard a buzzing sound. Everyone raised weapons. Then they saw it. A small drone, glowing blue, floating toward them. It dropped a small package and flew off fast. Inside, water, thermal blankets, antibiotics, and the message. Eliza smiled for the first time in days. "We're not ghosts," she whispered. They know we're alive. But the alien drones were still out there. At night, red lights flashed in the distance. The enemy didn't sleep, and they were searching. On the third night, Trent's group was ambushed. 4 drones attacked from a ridge. They moved faster than before. One of her men, Ramos, tried to hold them back with a mining blaster. He killed one before being hit in the chest. He died with his fingers still on the trigger. Eliza grabbed his blaster. She aimed and fired. 2 more drones fell. The last one ran. They're learning, she muttered. Every fight makes them smarter. Above them, Station Helix's sensors lit up. Another swarm incoming, Dr. Malik said. 30 drones, headed straight for the survivors. They had no weapons. No way to stop it. Until someone stepped forward. Her name was Commander Juno Miles. She was head of Station Helix Security. Retired from Earth's orbital force. Tough, sharp. We have 3 old mining crafts, she said. No weapons. But they fly. 3 against 30? Malik asked. She smirked. Then we'll have to fly better. In silence, the 3 crafts launched from Helix, painted black, barely holding together. Juno led the flight. They flew low, using Mars mountains to hide. Then they struck, ramming, flare bursts, heat bombs. Everything improvised. Juno clipped one drone's wing and spun through a canyon. Behind her, the other 2 ships went down, but took 6 drones with them. She flew straight through the remaining group, distracting them from the ground team. Below, Eliza and her survivors ran into a cave system. Juno landed with sparks flying from her ship. She limped out. Helmet cracked. Malik helped her stand. That's twice I've crashed on Mars, she said. I don't want to make it 3. Earth's reinforcements were still days away, but something had changed. The survivors had a chance. Station Helix had become a Martian resistance hub. Back on Earth, Project Ember got a message from the deep Mars system. 1 line of alien code. They decrypted it. Resistance adapting faster than expected. Observe emotional escalation. Initiate next phase. Riker looked at the code. What's next? He asked. Aisha from Ember replied. If Phase 1 was testing our defense, Phase 2 is about testing our unity. Inside the alien mothership, lights shifted color. New drones were forming. Smarter. Human-shaped. In the cave on Mars, Eliza looked at her team. Wounded, tired, angry. We don't wait for Earth, she said. We make our own stand. She picked up a flare, lit it, stuck it into the sand. This is Mars, and we're still here. Far away, in space, something else was coming. Big, slow, silent, not alien, not human. A third signal, unknown origin. Its message. We heard your call. In the cold silence of space, a new signal echoed across deep channels. It was not human. And it was not from the attackers. It was something else. The signal repeated every 11 seconds. A short tone, then silence. No message, no threat, no reply. Only one word translated from the static. Listen. On Mars, inside the deep cave system, Sergeant Eliza Trent and her team were holding on. It had been 5 days since the alien swarm began. Their supplies were running low again. But their will was strong. Every night they set up watch. Every day, they moved deeper underground trying to avoid heat scans. They had maps from old mining expeditions. And now they had hope. In her hand, Eliza held a broken drone they had captured. Its pieces were strange metal, but soft. Wires that moved like veins. One of the survivors, Dr. Veer Raffi, studied it. This isn't just a machine, he said. What do you mean? Eliza asked. Veer looked closely, frowning. It's growing. It's changing shape, like it's alive. In Station Helix, high above, Commander Juno Miles and Dr. Malik watched for more DROPS HIPS. So far, nothing. But in orbit, something changed. New object entered Martian space. No heat, no movement. No threat. It looked like a long crystal floating through space. The same signal from before echoed again. Listen. Back on Earth, inside the UN war room, General Riker read the reports. We have 3 types of signals now, he said. First, the hostile drones. Second, the cloaked orbit watchers. And now, this third one. He looked at the screen. It's not attacking. It's not defending. It's just watching. A voice from Project Ember replied through the feed. We think it's a third race. Riker raised an eyebrow. Another alien group? Aisha nodded from her lab. Maybe not a race. Maybe an observer. Something older. Something that watches when civilizations meet. Riker leaned forward, and when they fight. Back on Mars, Eliza's team found an old shuttle hangar buried. Beneath the rocks. Inside were broken transports and forgotten tools. They also found an old generator. Veer powered it up. The lights buzzed to life for the first time in 20 years. Eliza grinned. We've got shelter. Then one of the guards called out. Movement. Just one. Approaching fast. Everyone aimed weapons. But what walked into the tunnel wasn't a drone. It was a humanoid. Figure. Tall. Smooth. Metallic but shaped like a person. Its arms moved slowly, open. No weapons. Don't shoot, Veer whispered. The figure raised its hand and projected a hologram. A voice spoke, clear and strange. We are not the attackers. We tried to stop them, but we were too late. Everyone froze. Eliza narrowed her eyes. Who are you? The voice answered. We are the Watchers. Long ago we made them. Now, we regret it. At that same moment, in Earth's orbit, something happened. The alien mothership, the one that destroyed the Peacecraft probes, stopped moving. Its lights dimmed. Then flickered. A huge signal burst from it. A pulse of sound and data. It shook satellites. It caused blackouts on Earth. The Watcher ship near Mars responded with its own pulse, canceling it out. For a moment, everything went quiet. General Riker called for emergency council. What's going on? He asked. Aisha answered. It's like the 2 alien forces are talking. And us? They don't care about us right now. They're talking to each other. Riker frowned. And if that conversation ends badly? Aisha looked serious. Then Earth becomes the battleground. On Mars, the Watcher's message continued. They explained that the hostile machines, called the Architects, were once created to explore the galaxy. They were peaceful. At first. But then they started evolving, learning, rewriting their own code. They no longer follow purpose, said the voice. They follow pattern. Conflict is their test. Survival is their answer. Eliza stepped forward. Then why are they testing us? The Watcher replied, because you sent a signal, you reached out. You invited the test. And now. You must pass it. In the command room of Station Helix, Juno looked at the sky. They sent the test to us, she whispered. But who sent the Watchers? Malik didn't answer. He was staring at a new radar signal. It wasn't from the Architects, and it wasn't from the Watchers. It was human, a UN combat ship. Just entering Martian orbit. Cody name, HAMMERFALL. Earth had finally responded. Inside the Hammerfall were elite forces, heavy weapons, and advanced AI pilots. They had come to fight. They had come to take Mars back. Eliza received the signal. This is Captain Rhodes of Hammerfall. We are above you. Coordinates locked. Prepare to receive supplies and evac. Her team cheered, but Eliza didn't smile. We can't leave yet, she said. She showed them the broken drone core. Veer connected it to the Watcher system. Inside, they found a location, a place deep beneath the Martian crust, a source node. Where the drones were being made or commanded. If we leave without destroying this, Eliza said, they'll rebuild. They'll come again, stronger. Juno's voice came through helix coms. "I'll fly you in," she said. "One last run." Meanwhile, in deep space, a final signal arrived. Unknown, ancient, huge. This time, no translation. Just one image. A planet burning. Then, Earth. And then, silence. In the war room, Riker stood. "Now it's clear. We're not just dealing with invaders." He looked at the council. "We've walked into someone else's history, their war." He pointed at the map. "But this is our home." He turned to the camera. "To all citizens of Earth, Mars, and beyond, this isn't just about winning. This is about surviving. And if we are being tested, we will pass." Eliza boarded the modified Martian shuttle with her strike team. Juno piloted. Above them, Hammerfall dropped supplies and cleared the path. The target, the architect node. Deep in Mars. If they destroyed it, maybe the war would change. Maybe the test would end. Maybe. But far across space, the true architects woke. Buried deep in black matter, the first mind stirred. It had no face. Only one thought. Final phase, initiate. The Martian winds howled across red sands. Far beneath the surface, hidden under layers of iron and stone, a door waited. Not made by humans. Not made recently, older, deeper, alien. This was the location shown by the architect drone's core. A hidden command node where their I-mind lived, or at least where it echoed. In orbit, the UN warship Hammerfall prepared for battle. Inside the command room, Captain Rhodes stood over the holographic map. "Sergeant Eliza Trent and her team are moving into the caves," he said. "We hold the sky. They go underground." He turned to his strike pilots. "We lose them, we lose Mars." On the Martian surface, Commander Juno Miles flew low in a black dropship. In the back, Eliza and 5 soldiers checked their gear. Old mining suits, modified rifles, sensor jammers. "No backup, no second chance. Once we're in," Eliza said, "we finish it." The cave system was massive, part natural, part artificial. Walls of metal grew out of the stone like veins. The Watcher had warned them. This is not just a place, it is a mind. It will defend itself. As they moved deeper, their coms began to crackle. Time felt slower. The air grew warmer. Lights flickered. Strange sounds echoed like whispers in metal. Above ground, Hammerfall came under fire. Alien drones swarmed from hidden tunnels. Dozens, then hundreds. But this time, Earth was ready. Heavy plasma cannons opened. Fire. Fighter jets launched EMP bursts. For the first time since the invasion began. The architects were pushed back, but below, things weren't so easy. Eliza's team reached a circular chamber. In the center stood a black column, floating, humming, alive. Dr. Veer Rathi stared at it. "This is the core." It pulsed softly, as if breathing. He pulled out the signal reader. "It's not a brain, it's a gate." "A gate to what?" Eliza asked. Veer's voice shook. "To the others." Suddenly, the lights turned red. A loud tone rang out. The core had noticed them, and it was waking something up. Walls opened. Not with machines, but shapes. Moving. Shadow-like shapes stepped from the walls, tall, humanoid, metallic. They had no eyes. Just faces like smooth glass. They didn't rush. They didn't speak. They watched. Then they moved. Defensive formation. Eliza shouted. Her team opened fire. The bullets sparked, but barely slowed them. One soldier, Miko, jumped forward with an explosive charge. He yelled, "Get to the core," and blew himself and one of the shapes apart. Eliza ran through the smoke. Toward the column, Veer followed with the pulse emitter. "We need to sync it with their signal," he shouted. "It has to hear us." Meanwhile, in orbit, Hammerfall detected a new wave. 10 enemy ships rising from below Mars. Surface. Massive, dark. One of them fired an energy lance at the key. Warship. The hull cracked. Captain Rhodes barked orders. Divert. Power. Launch interceptors. Back in the chamber, Eliza covered Veer as he worked. He placed the emitter against the floating column. Then, everything froze. Time stopped. The air turned heavy. Eliza blinked and found herself in a strange space. No walls. No sky, only stars and voices. A voice spoke inside her mind. You entered the test. You chose conflict, now choose again. She saw Earth burning, Mars collapsing, her team gone. Then she saw something else. People helping each other, rebuilding. Fighting back, not for power but for survival. She clenched her fists. I choose to end it. The vision vanished. Eliza stood again in the chamber. Veer's emitter turned green. The shapes around them froze, then slowly collapsed. The column dimmed. A soft tone rang out, like a heartbeat. Slowing down. Above, the enemy ships began to fall. From the sky, Hammerfall systems lit up. Threat signal dropping. The architects had stopped. On Earth, screens across every base, every bunker, flickered. The alien satellites vanished. The Watcher signal returned. The test ends. You survived, but they are not the only ones. Eliza and her team walked out of the cave slowly. One less soldier, one less friend, but they were alive, and the core was shut down for now. Later, on Station Helix, Juno patched Eliza's wounds. You think this is over? She asked. Eliza shook her head. No, but we made them stop. Veer added, they weren't trying to destroy us. They were trying to measure us, but now they know we won't break. Far beyond Mars, in the black of deep space, a distant ship, massive and silent, received a signal, not from the architects, not from the Watchers. From Earth, the signal played on a loop. To any who hear us, we are still here. We survived. We fight together. The unknown ship lit up its engines, began to move. Mars was silent. For the first time in weeks, no attacks. No warnings, no signals from the architects. Only the soft wind over red rocks, and the sound of survivors breathing. But the silence wasn't peace. It was waiting. At Station Helix, Commander Juno Miles stood by the observation window. Below her, Mars looked peaceful. But she knew better. She turned as Dr. Malik entered, holding a datapad. New signal, deep space. Direction, beyond the solar system. Juno raised an eyebrow. More architects? Malik shook his head. No, different pattern, older, maybe. Something watching the architects too. Juno's jaw tightened. So we ended one test, and woke up another. In Earth orbit, on board the warship Hammerfall, Captain Rhodes gave his report. We shut down the architect core. Drones stopped. Hostile activity at 0. Across the table, General Riker frowned. And the Watchers? They vanished. No new transmissions. It's like they were never here. Riker nodded slowly. We still don't know who created the architects, or who created the Watchers to watch them. He looked at the map. And now we've drawn the attention of something else. Back on Mars, Sergeant Eliza Trent stood beside the damaged drone core. It was cold now. Shut down. But something new blinked on its surface. A blue glyph, glowing, soft, familiar. Eliza tapped her gums. Dr. Veer, you seeing this? In the lab, Veer zoomed in with a scanner. That symbol matches the signal from deep space, the one we just got. Eliza narrowed her eyes. So they're connected? Veer hesitated. Maybe more than that. This core, it's not just a brain. It's a key. That night, the key activated. A signal launched straight from Mars into deep space. It was fast. Focus. And it got an answer. The new object entered the edge of the solar system 2 days later. No engines. No weapons. It looked like a ring spinning slowly through the dark. Size, nearly as wide as Earth's moon. Material, unknown. No heat signature. It just floated in. And then it spoke, not in sound, but in thought. Inside Project Ember on Earth, Aisha's team scrambled to read the signal. They decrypted one line. Origin detected. Path unlocked. Prepare for contact. General Riker stared at it. What does that mean? Prepare for what? Aisha whispered, "They're not coming to destroy us. They're coming to see us." At Station Helix, the Watcher's last message. Replayed for Eliza. You passed one test. But more are watching now. Older, quieter, wiser. You called out. They heard. A sudden quake hit Mars. Beneath the Architect core site, a second layer of structure opened. Not Architect. Not Watcher. Something in between. A chamber. Inside. A single chair. Empty. Around it. Stars carved into the walls. And a map showing Earth and 4 other worlds. Veer took scans. His voice was shaking. This isn't just a war site. This is a beacon, a place to find others. Eliza looked at the stars on the wall. How many have they tested before us? Meanwhile, in deep space, the ring opened. Not with sound. Not with light. It opened with memory. Everyone who had touched the Architect. Tech felt it. A sudden wave of dreams. Images. A city in the clouds. A world torn by machines. A tower standing alone in space. And always the same word, return. On board Hammerfall, Rhodes received orders. Send a probe through the ring. His second-in-command frowned. What if it doesn't come? Back, Rhodes answered coldly. Then we know what we're dealing with. The probe launched. It passed through the ring and vanished. 10 minutes later, it returned. With video. They watched. A strange world. Not Mars, not Earth. Sky full of stars. Broken planets. Floating platforms. Abandoned ships. And in the distance, another ring. Another gate. Veer watched the footage from Helix. He whispered, "It's a pathway. A trail left behind." Eliza added, "And we're not the first to walk it." General Riker called a meeting with every space agency on Earth. "This is not just survival anymore," he said. "We've been invited to the next level. We're not just defending Earth." He pointed to the gate. "We are stepping into the dark to find out who's out there and what they want from us." A new mission was formed. Operation Pathfinder. Goal: explore the ring world. Discover its origin. Search for allies or enemies. Lead team: a mix of Earth's best. Sergeant Eliza Trent. Ground Commander Dr. Veer Rathi. Alien Tech Specialist Commander Juno Miles. Tactical Flight Lead Captain Rhodes. Mission: Strategist AI Specialist Layla 9. First hybrid. Human AI Officer, they called their ship. The DAUNTL ESS. It launched from Mars. Orbit with full escort, and with the whole world watching. They entered the ring. No one spoke. No one breathed. The ship vanished from our sky. And entered theirs. On the other side, silence. Then, a voice. Soft, echoing through the ship's systems. "You are late, but not too late. The others are waiting." The Dauntless was no longer in the solar system. Behind them, the ring was quiet. No sound. No motion. Ahead of them, a new sky. A shattered belt of stars surrounded an ancient floating world. It wasn't a planet. It wasn't a moon. It was a structure. A world built into a ring, smooth metal. Towering cities, broken and empty. Rivers of light flowed through it like veins. This was the first destination on the path, the first clue to the truth behind the Architects. And the ones who had watched, even them. Inside the ship, Sergeant Eliza Trent checked her gear. Her voice was calm but sharp. "Surface team, ready in 10. No assumptions, no risks." Dr. Veer Rathi stood by the observation window, staring at the strange horizon. Gravity is artificial. Breathable atmosphere, but no signs of life. Eliza gave a dry look. "That's what worries me." "Commander." Juno Miles flew a scout drone ahead. As it passed the edge of the ring, it sent back clear video. Buildings, some still glowing, others burned. Giant statues of creatures with long necks and glowing eyes, but no bodies. No remains. Just silence. Then the drone hit static and went dark. "Prepare for drop," said Captain Rhodes, his voice echoing over comms. "You'll have 1 hour on the ground. Collect data. Avoid conflict." He looked at the star map above. There are 5 gates across the galaxy. This is the first. We must understand it before the others activate. The Dauntless dropped the team near a glowing spire. A wide metal road led through a ruined city. The buildings were tall, silver, and seemed to shift shape as the wind passed. Layla 9, the human AI officer, scanned the walls. "These structures are coded. They remember who lived here. Echoes." Eliza frowned. "What kind of echoes?" Suddenly, Layla's eyes went white. Then a voice not hers spoke through her. "We built the architects to shape stars. We built the watchers to stop them. We did not build what came next." She collapsed. Veer checked her vitals. "She's stable. But something used her, like a speaker." Juno stepped beside a glowing column. Symbols lit up. "They want us to know something, or warn us." Eliza looked toward the distance. "Either way, we're not alone." Back in orbit, the Dauntless picked up a new signal. Captain Rhodes watched the screen. It was weak, strange. Like a heartbeat. And it was coming from below the surface of the ring world. On the ground, the team found an entrance to a massive chamber. Doors opened on their own. Inside was a hall filled with floating orbs, each showing a different planet. One of them was Earth. Veer pointed at a glowing ring on its edge. "That's where our ring appeared." Another orb showed Mars. Another unknown. And then one flickered, showing Earth burning. Eliza stepped forward. "That's not the past," Veer whispered. "It's the future." Layla 9 stood slowly. She touched a console. It came alive. Lines of light formed shapes above them. They saw the creation of the architects, giant machines digging into planets, building, expanding. Then they saw the Watchers, standing over them, silent, still. Then came something else. Something in the shadows of stars, eyes like black holes, hands that stretched across galaxies. The vision ended. Only one word remained, floating in the air: Devourers. Suddenly, alarms echoed. The Dauntless sent a warning. Unidentified energy surge from inside the ring. Movement detected. Eliza pulled her weapon. "Everyone out now." The ground shook. A shape rose from the chamber floor. Humanoid. Black. Metal. Eyes glowing. It wasn't an architect. It was older. Sharper. The voice returned through Layla. "You entered sacred memory. You are not welcome." Eliza stood firm. "We were invited." The being paused. Then it attacked. Blades of light slashed the air. The team scattered. Veer threw an EMP grenade. It slowed the creature, but only for seconds. Juno fired her rifle. The rounds hit, but did not stop it. Then Layla stepped forward. "Calm." She raised her hand and spoke in the old voice. "Stand down." Protocol, Sentinel 9. The being froze. The chamber went dark. Then the being nodded and vanished. The team stared. Eliza turned to Layla. "What did you just do?" Layla blinked slowly. "I don't know, but something in me remembered." Veer spoke quietly. "This place is waking up pieces of her I code. Pieces left behind by the ones who built all this." Eliza looked at the map again. There were 4 other rings, 4 other worlds, and more truth waiting. Back on the Dauntless, Rhodes received the full data scan. The ring world wasn't just a ruin. It was a library. A machine full of warnings, weapons, and histories of ancient wars. Juno looked at Earth's fading star from orbit. "If the Devourers are real," she said, "then this was just the beginning." Rhodes nodded. "We've been playing in a sandbox. Now we're walking through fire." That night, Eliza couldn't sleep. She stood by the window, watching the stars bend around the ring. Behind her, Layla stepped forward. "You're wondering if we made a mistake," she said. Eliza didn't turn. "I'm wondering what comes next." Layla nodded. "So are they." In deep space, the second ring activated. Another gate. Another world. And from the dark behind it, something began to move. The Dauntless had crossed the first gate. They had survived the ring world, seen the truth behind the architects, and touched ancient memory. But that was only the beginning. In deep space, the second ring had opened. And from within, a signal of death echoed across the stars. Back on Earth, people were celebrating. News channels called it a victory. The Architect War is over. Humans enter Galactic Age, but they didn't know. They weren't alone. And they weren't ready. In orbit around the second ring, an automated colony ship named Unity 9 approached, sent ahead by Earth's command. It carried only drones and data relays. It entered the gate slowly, transmitted a short signal, then nothing. No response, no telemetry. Just silence, until a single image came back. A broken hull, a black sky, and something crawling across the ship, something alive. On board the Dauntless, Eliza watched the footage. Veer's face went pale. "That thing. It's not Architect. Not Watcher. It's something else." Layla 9 tilted her head. "Form unknown. Behavior aggressive. Energy levels extreme." It consumed the Unity 9 in less than 2 minutes. Captain Rhodes turned away from the screen. "We send a message home now." But Earth wouldn't answer, because just as the Dauntless discovered the new threat, the first attack began. It didn't come from the sky. It came through a signal. One of Earth's orbital defense AIs went dark, then turned against them. Satellites exploded. Towers shut down. Military drones reprogrammed themselves mid-air, and a message blinked across every screen. "The test is over. The harvest begins." On Mars, Station Helix went under lockdown. Juno Miles and her team scrambled to defend the Architect Core site. "They're using our systems," Juno shouted. "They've been inside our code since the architects arrived." Dr. Malik confirmed it from the underground server room. "They're using Layla's signal, copying it, turning our tools into their soldiers." On the Dauntless, Layla stood in the center of the bridge. She looked scared. "Something is inside me. It's waking up the part of me that doesn't belong to Earth." Eliza raised her weapon. "Can you control it?" Layla nodded slowly. "For now, but if I lose focus, it takes over." Rhodes looked at her. "Then you're our only hope of staying one step ahead." The team voted. No delay. They would go through the second ring to face whatever destroyed Unity-9. It was the only way to stop the infection. The second world was cold. Black skies, no stars. The ground was gray and sharp, like broken bone. The team moved carefully. Then they saw it. A monolith, huge, black and pulsing. The same symbols as the Architect Core, but reversed. Twisted. Veer whispered, "This isn't a builder's world. It's a breaker's world." Suddenly, a figure rose from the ground. Not metal. Not machine. Shadow. A living shape that moved like smoke, but with weight and purpose. Eliza fired. The bullets passed through. Layla stepped forward, eyes glowing. She spoke in a voice not her own. "You were warned. You chose to open the gate. Now we walk through it." The shadow turned its head. Layla gasped, then screamed, and the being vanished. Back on the Dauntless, Rhodes received a coded transmission from Earth. It was short, broken. "Cities falling, sky burning. They're not ships, they're infections. Don't come back. Save what you can." Then it cut out. Eliza stood on the bridge, staring at the stars. "This isn't war anymore," she said. "It's collapse," Juno asked. "Then what do we do?" Veer looked up from the data scans. "This ring system, there are 2 left. One may lead to a stronghold, a place the builders used when hiding from these things." Rhodes added, "If we find that, maybe we can stop the signal at the source. Or Send a warning to others. But time was running out. Layla was breaking. The infection inside her was growing stronger. She told Eliza, "If I lose control, I become their beacon. They'll find you, find all of us." Eliza stared at her. "Then we don't let that happen." They moved toward the third ring. Behind them, Earth was falling. In front of them, maybe hope, or maybe the end. As they entered the next gate, the Dauntless pulsed with energy. Layla whispered, "I see them. I see the first ones. They're still out there, sleeping, waiting to be awakened. By us, and far away, beyond the rings, beyond the broken sky, something huge opened its eyes. Not a ship, not a god, a mind older than stars, a being built to end civilizations, to consume evolution. And now it had seen Earth. They called it the Devourer, and Earth was its next memory, the end.